Hello, welcome to Lemon Studios, where we talk movies, television, and wrestling. I'm, of course, Lemon himself, Zeke Lemon, and this is the monthly ranking of the top 25 WWE superstars on the main roster. But before we get into that, let's get the house clean out of the way. Share them, leave a like, comment below, let me know your thoughts on the top 25, and give me yours if you ever so choose to do so, or give me your rankings of the divisions themselves. And of course, hit that subscribe button as it helps me grow into my YouTube career. I would greatly appreciate it. Now, all that out of the way, let's get right into it, right? So, first, this is a re-record. This is originally supposed to come out on the last Sunday of every single month because we kind of review the whole entire month, and then this is where we implement where the rankings land, not just within the top 25 superstars overall, but the divisions themselves and the top 5 superstars of each division to see where we are landing at and where the storylines should just kind of review the whole entire month as a whole. However, for some reason, when I went to review the footage and, to start editing, I somehow lost all sound. So it was really weird. Like, I've never had that problem happen before. And I was honestly very, very frustrated. And it was late at night. And I was like, well, do I go to sleep or try again? Or do I save it for another day? And I chose another day because I wanted to get Monday Night Raw. And just so that it can be as accurate as possible, because if I re-record it before Raw and then it automatically becomes dated because things happen on Monday Night Raw. It was a whole thing. It was a whole entire bit. So yeah, that's my explanation as to why it didn't come out on that last Sunday. But let's go ahead and get right into it. What we're going to do is that we start off with the divisions themselves. What are the divisions? They're every single title on the main roster. There are 11 belts. We rank those, showing the champion and their top 5 contenders in every single one, explain as to why they land on it. And then we get straight to the top 25, and that's usually where the video goes a lot quicker. We do the bottom 10, then we do the next 10, and then we do the top 5. And then that's pretty much the whole entire video. We also show the first 5 out of the top 25 as well. So without further ado, let's make it do what it do. So kicking us off in 11th place is the Women's United States title. I feel like that's not really a big shocker. I mean, last month it was number 10. It finally goes down to number 11. Well, I say finally as if we were excited for it to happen. But, it's been a battle between this one and the belt that is coming up here pretty shortly. They just switch sides. Is that there's not really a focus on this belt. Now, Julia is starting to get a lot more work on SmackDown. She's actually being featured every single week. We'd like to see her in the ring a little bit more, but she's not focused on her title. She's not focused on defending her title. I mean, if you look at the top 5 contenders here, you will see that they haven't changed from the previous month. It's still Meechin in the 1 spot, 2 B-Fab, 3 Nikki Cross, who could go up. I did see in the background when Julia, there was some backstage segment, I'm pretty sure Julia was involved, or maybe it was just Kiana James, but you do see Nikki Cross vaguely in the background, like it's very dark and she's just standing. So she's back to looking in the background for that title, which is the only reason she got to 3rd in the first place. So we just need her to become more front and center, and then we can do this program, which I could actually really get into, the beautiful madness of Julia versus just pure madness of Nikki Cross. I think there's a lot of fun to be had with that program. And then Chelsea Green and Zelina wrapping it up just because they were in contention for those titles once upon a time. You could make the argument that Zelina can now jump Chelsea Green because Chelsea Green is not involved with that title whatsoever, and she only shows up for maybe 5 seconds per a segment, and Zelina Vega is actually in the background with Aleister Black all the way through, but leaving it the same here just because, again, it's not really going to make a difference if you change out 4 and 5 here. So yeah, that's why it's 11. None of the contenders really change. A lot of intrigue, don't get me wrong, and Julia is being featured for sure, but she's more focused on the women's title than her very own U.S. title. And I think if your champion is worried about other titles besides defending their own, that's a problem, and that's why it knocks down to number 11. Then we move on to number 10 is the World Tag Team titles. Last month, they were number 11. Your champions, AJ Styles and Dragon Lee. Number 1 contenders is the Judgment Day. Number 2 is the Vision. Number 3 is the Usos, 4 New Day, and 5 the War Raiders. 5, just trying to wrap up the top 5 there. War Raiders was the last tag team on Raw to actually be in tag team action. Usos, they are together, but now they are going back to being more separate entities as opposed to being a unit. There was actually talks that maybe we put the Usos together in the top 25 here, but we didn't. We kept them separate. And if Seth Rollins was still around, maybe some things are a little different here. You know, there was a bit of a reshuffle. I think AJ Styles and Dragon Lee winning is the right call. I am glad that they were like, line them up. We're ready to go. We'll take on any comers. Again, I'm not opposed to the idea of an open challenge tag team when it comes to these belts, just to really rejuvenate these titles, or just juvenile these titles, because they haven't been even ignited to begin with, to be completely honest with you. So Judgment Day get their rematch on Monday. That's fine. It's going to be a good match. I mean, AJ Styles and Dragon Lee did a great job. The previous week when they did have that World Tag Team titles, when they did change, when the titles did change hands, very, very fun match. So the chemistry is going to be really good. Let's draw a line under it. Judgment Day lose again. Sure, have Sheamus get involved. I don't care. Let's just get the Judgment Day out of the way. And let's get some Creed brothers in there. You know what I mean? American made. Haven't seen them in quite some time. I don't know where Xavier Woods is at, but let's get New Day involved. Maybe get Kofi Kingston and Grayson Waller in the meantime until Xavier gets back. I wouldn't mind LWO. Let's just line these tag teams up. Let's just keep it fresh. Let's have them active the whole entire time. Actually, throughout Monday Night Raw, I was very worried that I was like, is this like a curse? If you win the titles, you don't get featured on television? But thank God they showed up in the backstage segment there. So this has potential to possibly even move up within the divisions, because when we go to number 9, that one is really struggling too, and where I do think a draft is really needed. But some character developments have happened that have made it very interesting. So let's get into number 9, which is the WWE Women's Championship division, and your champion is Tiffany Stratton. Number 1 contender is Jade Cargill. 2, Julia. 3, Kiana James. 4, Nia Jax, and 5, Bianca Belair. Just to wrap up the top 5, was conversation of having Charlotte Flair in there, since she did fight for that title at one point. But we all know once Bianca Belair is healthy, she's going to be thrusted into this division immediately. And she's probably going to go from 5 to 1 like that. Julia, she has interest in the title. Again, kind of a side quest from her own belt. Jade Cargill finally turned heel, which is how WWE really should have presented her when she first debuted. But hey, you know, better late than never, but better never late. I think there is some real intrigue within that. As long as Jade Cargill wins on Saturday, I think this could save the division in a little bit. I don't know where Nia Jax has gone. I don't like what we do with Nia. I'm a fan of hers. I really am. Again, last year I think she was robbed of a WrestleMania spot. I think she had a hell of a year, and she deserved to be showcased in one of the main women's title matches, or just a program of her own. I don't like the treatment of her of that. Well, I guess we need somewhat of a title program. We'll have Nia Jax just come in and bully, say some of her lines, and then that will be that, and we will move on. I don't know why we couldn't have just Jade versus Nia for a little bit, having these two behemoths of a woman, respectfully, beat the living tar out of each other to get to this number 1 contender spot, while Tiffany Stratton is dealing with a Julia or a Kiana James. Hell, throw a Michin in there. Let's get some underdogs. Let's just inject some life in this. It really does feel like this division is stalling until Bianca Belair gets back, which is not healthy. And I really don't like how, you know, when we do showcase Tiffany, it's always in backstage skits. I don't recall the last time she actually had something within the ring. Friday was the most active she's probably ever been in front of a crowd in quite some time when she is not defending the title in an actual match. So I do like the title a lot. I like the person holding it. Tiffany Stratton is probably my second favorite women's wrestler in WWE right now. It's just, it just really feels like we're going paint by numbers here and there. Jay turning heel, I think, is the right move. And I do think it's time to change the title a little bit. Let's just inject some life into it. Maybe Tiffany needs to go to the U.S. Women's Championship division and breathe some life into that. And y'all know I love Julia as well. But there's just a lot of work that needs to be done on the women's SmackDown division as a whole. Because as you can see, they are very low on it. And again, the women's championship is threatening to drop down to 10 if some urgency is not to be happening very, very shortly. All right. Now moving on to number 8 is the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. Last month, they were number 9, but they are starting to be showcased a little more. Your champions are Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. Number 1 is the Kabuki Warriors. 2 is Bayley and Lyra Valkyria. 3, Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. 4, Judgment Day. And 5, Sol Ruca and Zarya. So, funny thing is that this was the 5 before Monday Night Raw. And then Raw happens, and I had no idea that Lyra and Bayley on SmackDown. I didn't see the post that Bayley posted on Friday night. And when I was like, oh, this match is happening, man, this is going to mess up my ranking, because I had, once I saw that tag title match was going to main event Raw, I was like, oh my God, Bayley and Lyra are going to do it. But sure enough, we don't. And it kind of justifies my ranking too, because the Kabuki Warriors automatically came out. So, some behind the scenes stuff while watching this, having the 25 set, having the division ranking set, and thinking it's going to go one way, and then you're being presented, oh, it's a different way. And then it kind of works out in your way in the end. I was like, oh man, that was quite the ride of emotions that was happening for me. I think the women's tag team division is starting to become a little bit more healthy. We just need to get some promo time. Personally, to me, I mean, the matches have all been great. The match with Sol and Zarya was a lot of fun with them. This match was great too. I really would have liked some promo time between these two teams, because they are so similar, but yet they are so different. And I think the characters are somewhat similar too. Alexa has that crazy side. Bayley's kind of schizophrenic right now. Lyra, young up-and-comer, has all the talent in the world. Charlotte is probably the greatest women's wrestler of all time, as my blanket falls. There again, I just think there was a lot of opportunities there to do some promos, to be like, you can't trust each other, where you can't even call each other best friends. Didn't get that. Hopefully we get that in the future. Maybe at Saturday Night's Main Event, because right now we do only have 4 matches on the card. The 5th one is a triple threat tag team match, but we already have a triple threat match book. So maybe it's just Kabuki Warriors versus Alexa and Charlotte, which I would also love. Lots of great matchups that could be happening within here. We just need to get some promo time, and that could elevate the division up quite a bit. And 7th place, we have the WWE Men's Tag Team Championship. Last month they were 8. They're also climbing up by 1. Your champions are the White 6. Number 1 is the MFTs. 2, Motor City Machine Guns. 3, Fraxium. 4, DIY. And 5, Los Garza. I gotta tell you, man, these MFTs and the bloodline as a whole, man, every time that I check out, like before they put the face paint on and we started doing this repackaging with the videos and all that, well, even during the repackaging of the videos, to be completely honest with you, I was like, I'm just sick of it. I'm sick of the bloodline stuff, it's fine, whatever. What they do on Raw is okay, because, it's Roman, it's the OGs, it's the ones, I grew up with. These new guys, I don't understand. But man, when they came out with that face paint and they started having those stare downs with the Wyatts, I was like, you know what? These guys are kind of cool. And then the matches they are having, I'm loving the new presentation of the MFTs. Wyatts are always being Wyatts. I'm glad the tag titles are being featured. And I'm glad the other teams are starting to get involved again, because we did lose that for a little bit. But the only thing that could threaten this to drop down a little bit, I don't see it going up. You know what I mean? Like, I could talk about the WWE Women's Tag Team titles, and I can make a case that, hey, we could probably bump these up when it comes to next month if we are to keep this momentum going. The WWE Men's Tag Team titles, I could see it either staying or I could see it dropping, because it is not wash, rinse, and repeat. We just need to keep them featured, and, at least they're getting promo time to a degree because of the Wyatts. But, once we get through this program, we will see what happens here. A lot of intrigue within it, but it's only really with 2 teams. I am curious in a Motor City Machine Guns versus Wyatt's program. I was really into the Street Profits versus the Wyatt's program, but we haven't followed up with the Street Profits. Are they breaking up? Are they not? They haven't been featured on television. And then, again, right now the MFTs and Wyatts, they just stare at each other very, very intensely, because that's how you know the feud is very super serious. So, will remain to be seen, but it's pretty comfortable there at number 7. women's tag team championships need to do a little bit more work to even threaten to get it, but it is the possibility, so we'll keep an eye out for it. And number 6 is the Women's World Championship. Last month it was 6, so no change there. Your champion is Stephanie Vaquer. 1, Roxanne Perez. 2, Raquel Rodriguez. 3, Rhea Ripley. 4, Io Sky. And 5, Nikki Bella. Not really much of a comment here. You know, right now Stephanie's feuding with the Judgment Day. We saw that face-off between her and Raquel. Boy, do I need that match. Boy, do I want that match. A lot. But then Nikki Bella's coming in, so maybe she's the program. There's not really clear direction of where we are going, but she did fight Roxanne Perez. Stephanie did fight Roxanne Perez, and Roxanne Perez did get a win this following Monday, which is why she goes to the number 1 spot. But Raquel had the face down, so that's number 2. I did think about putting Nikki Bella at 3, but Rhea and Io are in the top 25, and Nikki isn't. Because again, Nikki does kind of have the start and stop thing that goes on with her, while Rhea and Io were featured a lot throughout the whole entire month. So that's why she is at 5 for now. But again, I do see Nikki turning on Stephanie, and maybe she becomes the number 1 contender. So we will keep an eye out for that. But yeah, not a whole lot to comment when it comes to that division. And number 5 with the men's IC championship. Again, no change last month. It stayed at number 5. Your champion is Dominic. Number 1 contender is Rusev and Penta, but Rusev won, Penta 2 because Rusev had the last one-on-one contest. Number 3 is AJ Styles. 4, El Grande Americano. 5 is Sheamus. Again, just need to fill up 3 spots there. A very healthy division. I really am liking what we're doing. I love what we're doing with Dominic. I think what we are doing with his character, we're just going full blown Eddie Guerrero with it, with how he's cheating to win and how he keeps getting away with it. He finds all these innovative ways. I'm really curious to see what the spot is going to be with how we win it, how he wins to retain the title at Saturday Night's Main Event, because I'm pretty sure he's defending that belt against John Cena at Survivor Series. So how is he going to get out of it? What creative ways are we going to go about it? Is the Hammer going to get involved? Is there another player at play? As long as it doesn't involve someone just coming out to make the save, then I will be pretty happy with any way they go about it. I look forward to Dominic's matches simply because of the finishes. And Rusev and Penta having great within it. And then 4, we have the Women's IC Championship. Dropped a couple spots. Last month it was at the 2. Your champion is Becky Lynch. 1, Maxine Dupree. 2, AJ Lee. 3, Bayley. 4, Lyra Valkyria. And 5, Natalia. AJ just hasn't been on TV. That's the only reason that Maxine goes in. She's actually in a program with Becky Lynch. There was actually conversations that maybe Maxine Dupree should be in the top 25 with how well she's been featured and how great she is doing within the matches that she has been having with Becky Lynch. Did she make it? We'll see here in a little bit, but the conversation was had, and it was a long conversation on whether we do let Maxine Dupree into the top 25 for sure. But yeah, the other 3, Bayley and Lyra, they're a tag team. Lyra came to contend for the title, and Natalia was to just wrap up the top 5. But I'm pretty sure AJ is about to come back, and she'll take that number 1 spot pretty soon. And the 3, we have the Men's U.S. Championship. Previous month, it was at 4. It was threatening number 2. I actually had it penciled in at 2 for the longest time, but then the title change happened. If Sami Zayn was still the champion, then the U.S. title goes into the second best ranked division because the champion is kind of reflective of it. Ilya's great. I'm a huge fan of Ilya Dragunov, but he's brand new and he just came back from injury, so that's the only reason it drops from what would have been 2 to number 3. Your number 1 contender is Sami Zayn. We're still doing the U.S. Open Challenge, so this is kind of a free form of it, but where it doesn't matter what your contenders are because there's a new contender every single week regardless. 1, Sami Zayn. 2, Solo Sikoa. 3, Carmelo Hayes. 4, The Miz. And 5, Shinsuke Nakamura. And 2, you have the WWE Championship. Last month it was number 3. Your champion is Cody Rhodes. 1, Drew McIntyre. 3, Damian Priest. 2, Damian Priest. 2, Aleister Black. Jesus Christ, you see it on the screen. 3, Damian Priest. 4, Randy Orton. And 5, Jacob Fatu, simply because he's hurt. Jacob Fatu would have been 2 if he would have stayed healthy, but he is injured, but he does deserve a spot within the top 5. Randy Orton, I mean, he looked at the title recently, so, you know, we got to put him in, right? And Damian and Alistair, they main event to SmackDown. So they are in the main event scene for no belt. So therefore, they are within contention of that, and they have been doing great work. We'll see if they make it within the top 25. And number one is still your World Heavyweight Championship, regardless if the title is vacant. I'm really liking the stories that we are doing here. As you can see here, the number one contender is Jey Uso. 2, CM Punk. 3, LA Knight. 4, Braun Breaker. And 5, Bronson Reed. I thought about putting Bronson Reed at 4 and Braun Breaker at 5 because Bronson Reed pinned Roman Reigns, and I feel like that should be a much bigger deal than what we are making it on TV. But Braun Breaker is clearly who they're positioning as to be the world champion. He pinned LA Knight, so that's why he stays at 4. LA Knight, maybe I should put Braun Breaker at 3 and LA Knight at 4 since they lost, but LA Knight still being heavily featured, and I still think hopefully there's a finish to the Saturday Night's main event match, but he will get first dibs at that contendership when it comes to it. CM Punk, but a lot of people are probably going to think, well, he should be the number one contender because he got the title opportunity first. To me, Jey Uso just simply has the better story, and that's why he is at number 1 on this contenders list. All right, so now with all that out of the way, you see the 11 the 11 divisions ranked from worst to best. Now, that doesn't necessarily reflect how it happens in the top 25. How the top 25 works is all 11 of the champions are guaranteed a spot, or in this case 10, since the World Heavyweight Championship is vacant right now. Those 10 champions are guaranteed a spot within the top 25, but that doesn't mean number 1 through 10 are locked. Just because you are a champion, you could be number 25, depending on how your division is booked. So we're going to do the first 5 out first. So the first 5 out are, no in particular order, is Damian Priest, Maxine Dupree, who, if we were to put a number 26, it probably would have been Maxine Dupree, Sol Ruca, and Zarya in there, on the El Grande Americanos as a whole, because they were featured throughout the whole entire month. And then Jacob Fatu. If he doesn't get injured, again, I do think he gets a spot within the top 25 relatively pretty easily. But since he got injured, he falls short of the top 25. But yeah, if there was a 26, it would have been Maxine Dupree. Damian Priest, we just couldn't make it work with all the bodies that we had in here. It was a pretty busy month when it came to it. So yeah, now let's get right into it from 25 through 16. We have number 25 making his debut on the count is Jimmy Uso. In 24, we do have Julia, the United States champion. In 23, we have Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. They were a pairing this whole entire month. They were always together, so therefore no separate rankings between them. As you can see, Rhea Ripley dropping a few spots simply because after Crown Jewel, they basically just didn't get featured. They had one match. I get it, Rhea Ripley got hurt, but Io Sky could have had some spots as well and could have still been featured on television. Could have had the match with Asuka, but I guess it's just on pause. So that's why they dropped so much on this. And number 22, we have Penta making his debut. 21, Rusev going up a couple spots. AJ Styles and Dragon Lee at the 20. 19, we have Jade Cargill. 18, Tiffany Stratton. 17, Aleister Black. And 16, the MFTs. All right, now moving into number 15 through number 6, we have Charlotte and Alexa in the 15th spot. The Wyatt 6 and 14. 13, Bayley and Lyra Valkyria. 12, the Kabuki Warriors. 11, Stephanie Vaquer. 10, the Judgment Day. 9, the Vision. 8, Becky Lynch, now separated since they have broken up. Number 7, Sami Zayn. And number 6, Ilya Dragunov. Ilya, at number 6, he just came back. I know, but when your division was that healthy, again, Sami Zayn carrying it to the 2. So Sami Zayn deserved to be within the top 10. But a contender cannot be less than its champion. A champion has to be featured first. That's why Ilya gets into that 6th spot, because he beats such a juggernaut of someone throughout November. Stephanie Vaquer not making much of a room. Becky Lynch and the Vision did break up, so they move on. Becky Lynch stays higher simply because she has a title, while the Vision are kind of at a standstill. But, you know, that could change depending on how this month goes within there. Kabuki Warriors doing amazing work. Bayley and Lyra jumping up together. expeditiously. I know we're kind of selling a narrative that they're not healthy for each other, but boy, the rankings sure do show that they are healthy for each other. Now, in our top 5, not moving for the last 3 months, he has stayed in the 5 spot, is LA Knight. Yeah, because again, he's always featured. He's within the main event. He's always working those things. Would like to see him get a couple more wins. Absolutely. I do think his time is going to come. We're just going to be very, very patient with it. He might fall next month, depending on how he is booked moving forward. Again, we'll see how the Saturday night's main event goes and see if he is to stay within that main event scene. But he is teetering a little bit from that 5 and maybe from the top 10 as a whole, to be completely honest with you. We'll see where it goes. And 4, moving up a couple spots, is Drew McIntyre. He is fighting Cody Rhodes for that title. Great work within that program. And number 3 is CM Punk, dropping a spot. He has been at 2 for the last 2 rankings, but now he finally falls. And 2, we have Cody Rhodes going up 1. But Zeke, he's the only active champion because the World Heavyweight Championship is vacant. Cody Rhodes is just now really getting back to being a full-time schedule. And again, I said this within the division rankings. Number 1 is Jey Uso, just because he has the best story going on. And I do think he is going to win at Saturday night's main event, and I think he deserves the win at Saturday night's main event. I think there's a lot more intrigue with storylines with him holding that title than with him not holding that title. There's the Jimmy Uso element. There's the Roman Reigns element. There's the fan element as well. Again, if he keeps leaning into this darker side of him, then you also got the Vision at play. There's a lot of fun to be had with Jey Uso right now. I know a lot of people are frustrated with how long his entrance goes. I know how they don't think he can cut promos. I think he cuts a pretty damn good promo for the most part. Yes, he does a lot of yeeting, but that is part of his character. If you look at his stuff before the yeet, he can cut it really good. Maybe we tone down the yeeting a little bit. That's why we lean into these heelish themes of it, so we can kill that a little bit. Knock it out, because the crowd expects it. You do got to play to the crowd. And again, his story overall to me is the best story in all of WWE. So that's why he deserves the number 1 ranking. And I think he does deserve the World Heavyweight Championship. So yeah, those are your rankings for the month of October. Comment below. Let me know your thoughts on it. What do you disagree with? What do you agree with? Challenge me. Let's have a debate in the comment section. Leave a like if you made it this far within the video. I do greatly appreciate it. And hit that subscribe button, as I am trying to grow into my YouTube career. We cover every WWE event here that is on the main roster. And don't forget to squeeze the days, guys, because life is too short not to give you all. So squeeze every opportunity that you can. Until next time, I'll see you here at Lemon Studios.